Hello, Ukulele on the Ground. We're here with the world famous Rick Turner of Renaissance Guitars. Aloha, Rick. How are you doing?
Hi, doing great.
So please tell us about Renaissance, your new ukulele line, and a little about yourself.
Well, I've been repairing and building guitars now for 47 years. I apprenticed as a guitar repairman in Boston in 1963, and but I'm relatively recent to the ukulele. My friend Barry Perlman came to me about 6 years ago. It must have been about 6 years ago. And said, you know, you really ought to consider making some tenor ukes. And I'm going, And I started seeing, the uke scene coming on, and a friend of ours is Ukulele Dick, Rick McKee, who's just phenomenal. And also, building guitars for so long, I had all this wood that's not quite big enough for guitars, and what am I going to do with it? It's beautiful,
So don't want to waste it.
Don't want to waste it, Right. And I started getting into the ukulele scene in Santa Cruz, which has a huge club. I mean, every month it's like, if there aren't 140 people there, it's amazing, So it's just been a lot of fun getting into these. But one of the things that I thought I was going to do is not just build another copy of a Hawaiian uke.
Exactly.
I wanted to bring my own thing to the table and really. I didn't want to do it just to do it. I wanted to do it to see what I could do that would be creative myself in the world. So
and this looks nothing like
it doesn't.
Traditional ukulele. Looks more like a very tiny, like one of those really old guitars.
Well, the shape on this comes directly from some mandolin family instruments that I collect that were made in about 1898 in Boston. So this was the tenor mandola shape, the guitar-shaped tenor mandola, originally an 8-string, steel strung. And I just always loved the shape, so I went, looks good to me. I'll steal that. It's 110 years old. I'll steal that. So I did.
No one would notice.
Yeah. So I did that, and then the acoustic guitars that I build, I cantilever the fingerboard, so the fingerboard doesn't touch the top.
Wow.
And
it's free to ring.
You're right. The upper bout of the top is free to vibrate, and that sort of it came out of my guitar making, but also when I was talking to Rick McKee about what makes a good sounding ukulele, and he was saying, well, you got to understand, you got to start with the Martins, you got to start with the Kamakas. We'll show you some older stuff, but that's sort of the baseline. And the better sounding Martins, in his opinion, are the lower models where the fingerboard stops here and the top can vibrate. Well, I already do that with guitars, so I can do that with ukulele, So, and then, this is braced much like a classical guitar, a little simpler, but there's a transverse bar here that runs at an angle, which opens up more space on the bass side than on the treble side. And then we got 3 fan braces behind that. And I also do an upper transverse, which is, you can almost see it with this one. I top the upper transverse brace. Yeah, you can see it through the sound hole or the side port here. There's carbon fiber on the.
Yeah.
And that, because we're not using the fingerboard to support the neck, it helps just stiffen up the top just enough to be able to do this cantilevered fingerboard.
Right.
And then we're also putting a piece of carbon fiber under the fingerboard from here down to the end, so that it's very stiff. It doesn't. It doesn't.
But it doesn't add any additional weight.
It doesn't add any additional weight. So yeah. So that's really the story on these. We made, I guess, close to 250 of them now. And
let's hear a sound sample on one of them.
Okay.
Cool. So show us all the different types that you've made so far.
Well, this one is obviously koa. This was some koa that a friend of mine brought to me. He was going to resaw it for a guitar set, and it split just perfectly for me. And it split, it came through the saw, it split, and I said, mine,
There
you know. And so we made two ukuleles out of this set. The neck on this one is made out of mahogany that was salvaged from Bob Hope's poolside bar. A friend of mine did a remodel on the place, and so we got this. We have here, this one is Adirondack spruce and Brazilian rosewood with just very, very simple but elegant detailing of the purflings and so on. It's really a beautiful, I don't know if you can catch that, but a beautiful piece of Brazilian. And, you know, even the mitered purflings on down here. So this is very high end. We also are doing a series, slowly doing a series that we call The Bone. And it's a tribute to the Martin guitars of the 1930s. So we're doing the herringbone trim and the Ivoroid binding, Adirondack spruce top, Brazilian rosewood. So it's not a copy of a Martin, and it's not a copy of something that Martin should have made. It's our own thing, but we did sort of the this is a peghead copied from a Martin tenor guitar from 1933, and so it has the appointments of and it's got the zipper stripe down the back. So it's the appointments of a 28 series Martin from the mid-30s. And this one is American Cherry. It's curly cherry. It's beautiful. I love it. It works beautifully. It sounds great. And the nice thing is it's photosensitive, so it will slowly turn kind of a deep maroon over the years. And this will take on a richness of color that'll be really, really wonderful. And I always wanted to do a soundhole rosette like the Mariner's Compass. And so we call these the Compass Rose instruments.
Oh.
When I first designed it, I was hoping to be able to put magnets in the neck and find a suspension point and have the instrument point north. So now you're north, right? Yeah. And the fleur-de-lis is the traditional symbol for north on the old Mariner's Compass. So they're Compass Rose ukuleles, and it also honors the navigators, the Polynesian navigators who went to Hawaii, and also then the Spanish and the English and the Portuguese. So it's sort of there's a little hint of tying in the history there with the whole thing.
So what do these retail for?
We start at a little over 1,000. We start at about 1,200. These are all relatively high end, and we go up to about 4,800 for something like this. Okay. Most of them we're selling mostly in about the $1,500 to $2,000 region, and you know these are serious players' instruments, right. You know, and the market is very strong for them. We're not building a lot. We're building about 3 or 4 a month, and it's a comfortable pace for us right now. We're a very small company.
Okay.
And there's myself and 3 other luthiers building all of these instruments. So it's, you know, so we're satisfied with what we're doing. I do want to come out with a 14 fret version of this later in the year. I also teach a course, Build a Ukulele in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
And we built a little soprano pineapple. And I've taught it, I'm on faculty at the Crucible in Oakland, and I teach it there 2 or 3 times a year. I've also taught it 4 times in Australia. I was down at the Cairns Ukulele Festival last summer, early summer, and we taught 14 students. We got 14 ukuleles built in 4 days.
That's cool.
It was great, really great. And the students, I come in with pre-bent sides, and the tops and backs are joined, but they do all the assembly and do the final carving on the neck, fret the instruments up, and they design their own peg head, and a little, you know, some of them get into a little bit of decorative stuff, so it's really great. But it's a wonderful thing, and
that sounds fun.
It works. It works. Yeah.
So before we go, what separates your ukuleles from all the other ukuleles out there?
I think, you know, one of the things I wanted to do was very deliberately make an ukulele that would appeal to guitar players and bring guitar players over to the ukulele side.
Yeah.
And so that's part of deliberately not making a Hawaiian style ukulele. You know,
Okay.
we're making our style, and it works. We've got a lot of our guitar playing customers wind up getting ukuleles, so it's
Cool.
really
It's a
fun.
nice transition.
Yeah, it's a transition.
Yeah.
So the neck is a bit beefier than traditional.
Right.
The sound is a little bit deeper, a little bit richer,
Right.
and so there is this friendliness to the guitar side of things. And you know, some people criticize us for that, and I say, you know, there are fantastic builders of traditional ukuleles.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to do that. We want to do something
Right.
else that
Do your
brings
own
people
way,
into
yeah.
the scene, you know. And
Exactly.
I think that's what we've done is we've made an ukulele that really appeals to our guitar playing
Good.
customers. Yeah.
So where can we find the Compass Rose?
Music Guy Mike is a fantastic dealer for us. The Blue Guitar in San Diego, Griffin Music in Palo Alto,
Okay.
Sylvan Music in Santa Cruz, and then on custom stuff we also sell direct. So
Next, do you have a website where we can?
yes, RenaissanceGuitars.com.
Cool.
Yes, yep.
All right, guys, RenaissanceGuitars.com. This is the legendary Rick Turner. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you,
time.
Alvin. Great.
Check them out, guys. Ukulele on the ground. Signing off. Aloha.
Great.